we come for their presence this morning. We want to commit ourselves before this day you have given us. As we start our meeting, we ask your Holy Spirit to be with us. We pray that you can guide us from beginning up to the end, and we give you honor and glory. We pray this, trusting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. I'm not the moderator, but I just wanted to start off to introduce to the moderator so that I can be able to proceed. But we are here for a very special occasion. My name is Henry Chen of the Kenya Alliance of President Association, and we are happy to host you here today. And when we talk about public participation, all of us are players, and all of us have a role to play. And so we are going to have that discussion today. As was announced earlier, the main guest we are expecting is the governor, who I spoke to this morning, and of course told me that he has a number of activities, but he'll try and see if he can be able to join us even if it's briefly. In the meantime, he's sending his team who are on the way, who will also be able to engage with us. So we'll be able to engage when he arrives. Before I hand over the mic to Nageshe is going to be a moderator today. I just want to say that as Kara, we have been moving around the counties just to try and provide platforms for people to understand their roles and responsibilities in terms of service delivery. And for Kiambu, we decided to have this session here because we've been having a number of activities in Kiambu, especially with our members, the Resident Association. And we think that it is very important that we start making some movement in terms of actualizing some of the things we've been talking about. And so these platforms, early in the year, provided an opportunity to be able to see how best we can be able to identify specific issues that are of interest to us as residents of Kiambu County, and then how do we ensure that these issues find their place within the governance of Kiambu County. And when I say that, I mean specifically the executive, the county government executive, who have the responsibility of ensuring that they implement and they provide services. So I'm going to talk about that maybe when I'm making my statement, but I just wanted to take this chance to welcome you, ask you to feel at home, engage actively, and ensure that we make this meeting as productive as we can make it. So let me ask Nageshe to take us through the program and ensure that we stay within time. Thank you very much, and have your seat.
Sorry, I want to interrupt Henry, the CEO for Kara, so that at least we know the kind of audience that we have here. So I will ask somebody from any of the association or the organization you are from, if one of you can speak up, I will start from this side, the front bench. If you can just speak up, and then we know who are here, just so that we can also, as the speakers address, they can also understand which areas to focus on.
Radio Kentimea Residents Association, as well as Limuru Highlands Zonal.
My name is Patrick Luike. I'm a member of the Thika District Business Association, and I'm representing my business. Few Unlimited, just tell it down. I'm a retired civil servant, and in my last appointment, I served as a permanent secretary for energy from 2003 to 2013.
I'm Samuel Maleki from Kawaku Kali, the association.
I'm Eunice Karanja, a researcher.
Morning members, God is good all the time. My name is John Kimani. I am a member of Kapete Cultural Chairman, Kapete Cultural Group Chairman. Also, leaders of CPU, also community healing, volunteers, and I am a public officer in Maria Magdalena Center Workshop. Also a trainer.
My name is Jacinta Siobua. I'm representing Kenya Union of the Blind, Kiambu County, and also community health worker, slums in Kiambu. Thank you.
But before I do that, let me just recognize our guest here, starting with Kinudia Mwangi, who is a very good friend of Kara, and we've worked with Kinudia for so many years. And we keep joking that we've traversed every corner of this country together. At the time we were working with him, before he became the chairman of the National Authority. And we went to almost every single county, educating people about issues of devolution and public participation. So there's no place we haven't gone with Wamangi, and he's been a good friend since then. So Wamangi, thank you very much. We also have Robertson Kabusha. Robertson worked with Hans Hidel Foundation, and Hans Hidel Foundation are partners of Kara, and it is through that partnership that we are able to have this kind of platforms. We've worked with Hans Hidel for more than 10 years, and they've been very supportive, and in every forum that we've had in different parts of the country, they've worked with us and they've supported us, and it's because of their support that we've been able to have. Today, this is the 79th forum we are having in partnership with Hans Hidel Foundation. That shows you that we've had a long journey and we've walked a long journey with them. And we are always grateful for their support, because without that support, we cannot be able to do what we are doing here today. We have Wanamiano from the Chambers of Commerce, Central Region, who are also working with. We're expecting Wanawanyoike, who should also be joining us from Thika District Business Association. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned, for those of you who may, because I realize that there are so many different stakeholders in this particular room, and maybe some of you have not had an opportunity to understand a little bit more about Kara as an organization. So, as the name suggests, we are an umbrella body of resident associations, of neighborhood organizations, and the reason why we came together about 20 years ago was to try and make sure that there's a coordinated and structured engagement between the service consumers, who are you and me, or the residents of a particular county or particular region, and the government. Because our intention is to make sure that when we talk about service delivery, we are talking about it in a way that makes sense to all of us. Allow me, before I proceed, because I've made a very big omission, to recognize Mr. Ephraim Kanake, who is seated right here. Bana Kanake is a founder member of Kara. Good morning. And he's a governing council member of Kara. Actually, he's the treasurer in the board. And he came with us here all the way from Nairobi just to listen and also participate in this forum. Bana Kanake, asante sana. So as I was saying that as Kara, we are interested in ensuring that people have an opportunity to participate in service delivery. When we talk about public participation, a number of times we don't have a clear indication of what exactly it means. Much as the Constitution talks elaborately about public participation, and even there are a number of laws supporting that, we are still at a point where we don't understand very well what exactly it means and what are the thresholds that go with that particular aspect of public participation. So as Kara, we look at how do we empower, how do we inform, how do we encourage residents to be part of the solution to the challenges that they face, and how do we ensure that the government has a mechanism of engaging with wananchi in a very structured and effective way, so that their issues can be brought on board and they can be able to address those issues in a way that is sustainable. So we have members across the country, and I've had a number of our members who are in this particular room. And through our members, we've been able to engage different levels of government, at the local government and at the national level, to ensure that we have an enabling environment and mechanism through which our members can be able to achieve their goals and their objectives. And all of you belong somewhere. You all, when you live here, you are going to a particular household. So technically speaking, you are all members of Kara. But it is important that within where you live, you find a way of organizing yourself so that when issues crop up, when issues come up within your neighborhood, you are able to find solutions and able to engage with the relevant government authorities to find those, to address those kind of issues. So the reason why, as Kara, we thought that this kind of engagement is important is because we realize that the government might exist to provide services, but they might not be able to be at a point where they understand all our expectations. And the service might be existing, but accessing the service might be a problem. So we look at how do we promote access to services, both at the local level and the national level. what kind of policies do we need to have in place, for instance, to ensure that we have an enabling environment to make people access those kind of services? And then what kind of information do the wananchi need to be able to make informed choices? So we have a number of initiatives as CARA just to make sure that these kind of goals are met. And one of them is this kind of platform that we're having here today. We call it the bi-monthly talk series. And we have this kind of forums across the country, different counties. And the idea is to bring the people in authority, that is the government, and the residents, to discuss and talk about issues that affect them. Talk about services that affect the county and affect wananchi. And most importantly, agree on the way forward in terms of solutions. All of us would want to see an environment or a neighborhood that is promoting dignity in terms of space for living and is well managed. And the way to do that is to make sure that we work very closely with the county government and ensure that they are providing the kind of service that they're supposed to provide. And also we are providing information and also supporting them or working with them to ensure that we are all on the same page in terms of service delivery. We did a similar legislation a few years back for Nairobi, and we are now implementing sections of that particular legislation. And we expect that we'll be able to move in different counties to ensure that this particular legislation is being formulated and being implemented. So ladies and gentlemen, ours today is just to give an opportunity for us to identify where the challenges could be and agree on what kind of solutions we could be able to have. Eventually, what we are looking at, and is provided for even in the legislation, is to be having regular roundtable forums between the governor and the stakeholders, various stakeholders. And these forums can be able to be used as a platform of following up on issues, because it's not enough to talk about issues in this particular forum, but we need to follow up and make sure that something is being done about those issues, and where there's a problem, where there's a delay, then we have a clear indication on how that is going to be addressed and the timelines we're talking about. So we are going to initiate that agenda of roundtable forum with the governor and ensure that this kind of whatever issues that we are raising are actually being addressed, and there's a mechanism of following up to ensure that we have proper solution, and where there's a challenge, then we're able to agree on how to make sure that those challenges are addressed. And as resident of the county, we are enjoying the kind of service that we are supposed to enjoy. So without taking much time, and of course I'll be happy to talk more about CARA, maybe at a personal level review, if there are questions in that regard. I just want to invite you to engage in this particular discussion very actively. And I always say that when it comes to service delivery, there's nobody who has a monopoly of solutions. All of us have solutions. And there's nobody who has a monopoly of ideas on what needs to be done to address certain challenges. So as you sit there, as you listen to what people are talking about, also come up or think through what are the issues that we are facing as the resident of Kiambu County, what could be the possible solutions, and how do you go about achieving these solutions? Because that is the most important bit. From that, we want to have a way of monitoring and following up and making sure that those kind of issues are actually getting addressed and we are responding to them effectively through the various structures that exist of engagement between the county government and the various stakeholders that we have. So allow me to stop at that, ladies and gentlemen, and allow other speakers to also engage, and then we'll be able to have a session of Q&A where we can be able to talk about issues, respond to them, and agree on the way forward at the end of it all. So asanteni sana, and karibu once again, feel free and engage actively. Thank you very much.
Even with the speakers, and I'm hoping you're taking some notes. What I've gathered here is what CARA is, and also the purpose of this meeting, particularly in enhancing public participation. I've also heard that Henry has mentioned about an act, that is a Kiambu Act, which is supposed to be helping us, particularly in areas of engagement with the public. No, with the duty bearers, that is the county government of Kiambu. Now, I think now I invite Robertson Kabusho, Head of Programs in Kenya, Ethiopia, and from the hands CDL Foundation.
Good morning. Having some sore throat, but we'll be able to continue. I'm glad to be with you this morning, being also a resident of this county of Kiambu, to be able to participate with you. The fact that you are all here, as I have listened when you are doing your introductions, we have a variety of representation from the different stakeholders and people who have an interest in this Kiambu County, either in business, in enterprise, working in Kiambu County, in religion, all areas. And it's a great pleasure. The fact that you are all here signifies the interest you have in today's topic and also the input that you are probably planning to contribute to today's forum. So, karibuni sana, and it is a joy. It is a joy also to partner with Kara in today's forum. As Henry Oching has well put it, that Hans Seidel Foundation has partnered with Kara for over 10 years in holding this kind of forums. Some years ago, we just used to have one forum every 2 months, but now we have gone ahead to hold monthly forums. Back then, it used to be only in Nairobi, and now we have been moving to different counties, and it is great that Kiambu County is a beneficiary of this today. And listening to Henry's remarks, I have noted that there is such a robust plan or framework to have this kind of dialogues with Kiambu County. So the Kiambu County administration is lucky to have the support of Kara for this kind of things, and also Kiambu County is lucky to have the goodwill of the county administration in such a process. So over the years, this platform has provided citizens in Nairobi and now other counties an opportunity to engage with a variety of stakeholders, those you wouldn't expect to be meeting every other day as you go about your business, to exchange views on pertinent issues such as in government, academia, the media, development cooperation, private sector, and civil society. Now about Hans Seidel Foundation. This is a German organization, what is commonly known as German political foundations. And the story about the political foundations in Germany is that they are as old as late 1950s and early 1960s, whereby, according to the German system and as per their constitution, it provides that every political party in Germany is required by law to have a political foundation, whose role and mandate is to carry out political education, which we call here civic education. So Hans Seidel Foundation is among the many others, about 6 or 8 foundations that exist in Germany that did political education work in Germany, and later it had the effect of having Germany as one of the very strong democracies, and were able to replicate that in other countries. So, for example, Hans Seidel Foundation has presence in about 60 countries where we support work in democracy, peace, and development. Our work in Kenya, through local partners and non-state partners, focuses on the 4 areas of good governance, gender, sustainable economic development, and climate change adaptation. So, for example, under good governance, we support public institutions to better deliver services to Wananchi in efficient ways. We support political parties to strengthen their structures. We support women political and leadership development. We support the area of Kenya's economy through research and publication that is necessary for investors, and we support climate change initiatives. We mainly work through local partners, and we support work by our partners in the 4 focus areas mentioned above. Our office in Nairobi covers work in Kenya and in Ethiopia. As an organization, we place high value on public participation. This is because successful policy and development is dependent on meaningful public participation. And I use meaningful intentionally because it is necessary to shift from conducting public participation merely to check the box, but invest in measures with the user in mind. And using the common word Wanjiko, we realize that it is Wanjiko who uses the bus terminals, the market, the health center, educational institutions, the roads, and so on and so forth. Therefore, it is Wanjiko who knows where the shoe pinches. And therefore, proper mechanisms are important to be put in place, not only by Kiambu County, but other counties and also the national government, to ensure that the user is being consulted meaningfully. Time becomes precious in this case, whereby the opportunity cost is of consideration. For example, of even you being here means that perhaps there's something else you have to leave, or the nature of your work allows you to be in such a forum as this. Therefore, county governments need, for example, to adopt modern technologies that allow public engagement with efficiency and also minimum cost to be able to widen the pool of who they can reach and consult. How can Facebook groups, for example, WhatsApp groups that citizens engage at be optimized? I don't know how many of you saw the advert in yesterday's newspaper. I don't know, I think it was in Nation, for public participation with regards to the Kiambu County for the 2020-2021 financial year, and also for the 2023, the medium term plan. Also there were two. Anyone? Yeah, quite a handful. Yeah, my colleague Damaris and I were looking at that yesterday, and we thought it is very timely because we're having this session today. And just by the hands that have been raised, and a comparison of many others within Kiambu County, who, for example, were able to see that. And questions can come whether it was an effective mode of reaching out to the public. Thank you, Bwana Kinothia. Yeah, ladies, it was Kiambu County, I think Sierra County, and one or two other counties that have put out that. And you see, it's an important process, but what's the reach? What reach would radio have? How has county government segmented the population of county governments to understand how best they can reach the people and engage with them? So those are some of the questions, and this provides a first step provided by Kara to be able to hear your views and your contribution, and also from the experts on this table on what measures can be put in place to enhance citizen participation in sustainable development in Kiambu County. So I hope that you'll be able to sufficiently benefit from the forum, and that your input will be taken on board, so that now it can be forwarded to the county government, and the engagement can continue towards a prosperous Kiambu County that serves the needs of the citizens. So thank you so much, and I wish you a successful forum.
Thank you, Robertson, and I am happy to note that he is a resident of Kiambu. So he does not only engage with Kara, he engages with anybody who can advance what he is looking for. So let us take advantage of him before he leaves, so that we can have more engagement supported by Hans. One thing that he has said that I think one of the challenges, and I think we probably need to address it, is that meaningful public participation, where your voice, when you go to this public participation, is heard, listened, and acted upon. This is one of the challenges, because many at times people go for public participation, they say what they say, but nothing ends in the implementation. So this way you really get tired. So I have liked that part you said about meaningful public participation. Now we will move now to our next speaker, and I will now invite Dan Miano, the CEO, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Central Region. I'm sure he is very familiar to many of you because he is now in the support of the businesses. Karibu sana, Dan Miano.
Thank you. So, as it was mentioned, I'm the CEO of Central Region. Central Region encompasses Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Nyandarua, Murang'a, and Nyeri. And as Bwana Robertson amesema from Kiambu, I'm also from Kiambu. I think Kiambu, we are lucky. And I hope OGM, you can move and come to Kiambu, so that all of us are from Kiambu. So mine will be very brief. I only have 10 minutes, and I want to say just a few things that us as chambers we are doing. Especially, I'll be talking to the business people, the business community. As we know, most of Kiambu people are business people. And just before that, I want to say what are the roles of chambers of commerce. I know most of us, we know chambers of commerce. I don't need to delve into that so much. But our main mandates are three. Number one is to promote businesses. Number two, to protect businesses. And number three, advocacy. So today, I'll just talk about briefly on one thing that I have really been pushing, especially the county government of Kiambu, with the previous regime now, with when Tito was there, and I was hoping Yoro will be here, is something that we're really lacking in Kiambu for the business people. Something really basic, like a business survey for Kiambu County, or something maybe we can call it a census for commercial and non-commercial businesses. I'll just give an example. On Friday, we had a delegation from Pakistan. And these people are always ready to engage in various sectors, clothing, food processing, name it, hotel industries and all that. But you'll find in Kiambu, for example, if I would ask a question, maybe just to the audience, what is the economic activity of Kiambu at the moment? Who can answer me that? Real estate. Thank you, real estate. And but in our books, for the last 20 years, it is still saying it is farming. Farming is vitu wanawakati. Now it is real estate. But those kind of simple questions you find we go to forums and we cannot answer. We are asked, how many we are in a hotel here? How many hotels, for example, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star hotels do we have in Kiambu? Nobody has that data. Nobody. So it's a basic survey that we've been requesting the county government to do, and now partnering with Kara. We want also, as much as maybe the county will grab itself, we brought in other partners. We brought in Professor Munene, who is the VC now at CTEC. He's also from Kiambu. And also Professor Kibas to use their resource center. They are ready to give us their business students so that we can go to each corner of this county and find out how many, for example, spare shops do we have? How many, I was talking of clothing and textiles, the Pakistan people asking us. We can even, as the Pakistan government, they say we can even sponsor the people in business who are doing maybe clothing to come to Pakistan and see what businesses they can do there. They will cater for everything. But now when we are asked that simple question, how many people in Kiambu deal in that line? How many people are in food processing? We do not have those answers. Because that's something I think with the partnership with the county government and then others is something we can do so that we can be able to assist our business people. Today's theme is for sustainable development. So again, how do we have sustainable development when we cannot answer basic questions? So I think that is something which I was wishing the county government was here, because we really need to push them so that at least we can partner in regards to that. I know the business people understand the angle that we are coming up with. It's something that is very important, very basic. It may sound very basic, but it's always very important. Because you can also be able to segment the county, segment the businesses, and call for forums tailor-made for that kind of business. If it's farming, you're able to call farmers who are in the dairy industry and get the dairy farmers industry. How many cooperatives do we have? How many entrepreneurs like that and like that? So that's the one thing that we're working on. Then the other thing that we've done is we've come up with a system called the Business Opportunity Database System. This again, we are having an issue, especially with the youth. Unemployment has become an issue. The opportunities are there sometimes, but you find again, I come back to the business people. I will use an example where we are. You find maybe the administration here of this hotel. Maybe they are looking for waiters, they are looking for accountants, or any other type of job. But either they do adverts or they ask the networking, unajua mtu amefanya accounting, unajua mtu amefanya hivyo. And yet we have so many youth out there. Some have gone to the motorbike, some are just wandering around who are educated. So we have a business system, which we call Business Opportunity Database System, whereby we want to be providing all the youth, for example, so far we have 3,800 from Kiambu who've registered, and we're able to connect with them in any opportunities that are coming up. And also we are helping now the business people You don't need to, for example, if you need an accountant, you just go to the system. We've already done 70% of their HR work because in the system, the person is able to upload their documentation, CVs, and their qualifications, so you can be able to get all these things online. So again, that is also to help our youth. That's something we are really looking at, and also to bring in an aspect of B2B. Also connecting businesses to businesses. If an opportunity comes up and somebody is in that system, then as a business, we are able to connect you to their other business partner. So I think with that, we will be taking questions later if I'm not wrong, but those are some of the basic things that I'm thinking that we can start together and move forward as a team. Thank you.
And I think this is something that also we have talked severally, the issue of getting a survey, understanding what Kiambu is all about, and that information being communicated to everybody so that it becomes easy to do this. As we were having the various speakers, I noticed Mr. Alfred joined us, and for those who are joining us, karibuni sana. We are talking about particularly the topic that we want to focus on is enhancing public participation in Kiambu by the citizens or residents of Kiambu. And now I think I'll invite Alfred. I think we are next. This is chairman of Thika District Business Association, just to talk to us. Thank you, Karibu.
Thika is known for participating fully in any agenda which actually involves or touches on them. And that is why, and more so, our association is oriented on public participation, and that is why these people are here. We don't like keeping things to ourselves, we like talking. What we do request, and I would have preferred if the governor was here, because we believe in Kiambu now, we should be proactive and not reactive. We should be doing things before we are asked to do. Everybody knows his or her role. Wherever you are, whether in the business, in the county, or in the national government, what members want, or what the business people want, is a conducive environment for doing business. And when the environment is conducive, we get more investors. So what we are asking, and now that we partner with Kara and the county government, if we make the environment conducive to everybody, then you have no problem, even on taxation, where and people are complaining that they are being overtaxed or whatever. If business is good, everybody is ready to pay taxes. So here in Thika, as we wait for our guests to interact and say what is good for our county. And before we actually even challenge or say, what has Wanyoike done, what has Joe done, what has the other, let us ask, what is my role? Where am I participating? What am I doing to make this county better than it is? So I would request all of you to participate and actually make sure that whenever there is a public forum like this one, always attend. Do not ask what is happening and you're not participating in giving your voice, your opinion, or your contribution. It is good to be heard. So when you're heard, and since we don't have time and it was not my day, this is your day, I only want to welcome you and feel free. Those who are visitors to Thika, Thika is a very good place to invest and Kiambu at large. And now that we have a new regime, and we hope now our governor, His Excellency Europe, being a professional, will run this county professionally for the good of us all. Thank you very much.
And now we will go to our main, one of our main speakers, and that is Kinuthia Wamongi. And Kinuthia Wamongi, you know him very well. And this is somebody who has really helped, particularly in devolution. I remember the first conference of the devolution conference. At the introduction bit, he organized it. So he really understands what devolution is. And maybe he will tell us how far can we devolve these functions, because you as citizens, the functions of devolution needs to be devolved to you, because we have to own the areas of residence that we live in. Karibu sana Kinodi wa Mwangi. Let us give him a clap.
There is a lot we can say about public participation. So even that was not written properly, we can also talk about it. I thought there are several approaches to public participation. There is the conceptual public participation. I have a lot of write-ups which I've written myself, which have done that as a conceptual, a concept, as papers. But for this audience, I decided I'll be more legal. I want to take a more legal approach, which is consonant with the true situation of what we should be doing. Before I do that, allow me to congratulate Kara, as you have heard, from 2010, I think thereabout. I've been working with them throughout this country. Meenda mpaka Garissa, Mombasa, Kisumu, everywhere, Kakamega, everywhere. Doing this kind of thing. First, we were preparing the people for we were like the John the Baptist, telling the people, there is one greater than thee who is coming. And who I cannot even touch the strings of their shoes. Little did I know at that time that actually I was going to be the midwife of that process. Little did I know. But I was in this country preaching as a lawyer and as somebody who was a former town clerk, so, you know. But then, eventually, the mantle fell on me to lead the process of devolution in Kenya. Today, many people call me the father of devolution, and I vehemently refuse to be the father of devolution. And there's only one reason why I refuse. The mother of devolution is known, but the father is not known. Because if you listen, everybody is claiming to be the father. So until that day we shall do the DNA and establish the real father. Me, I'm only a midwife, and my worker is telling you that the child was delivered. It is very healthy, the mother, and it's going very well. Everybody have read about Baba amesema devolution has succeeded. Our president has said devolution has succeeded. There are some people here who say, I don't see what devolution has done for us. If you're in that category, come to me. I'll give you catechism, because at least I know what exactly we do and what devolution has done for this country. When I look at it from a wider perspective, not only of Central Province, but of the whole country. Allow me also to acknowledge, by the way, the presence of my chairman, Kano Washira. I come from Kiboko Welfare Association, which we started 28 years ago, and I was its second chairman. Now he's the current chairman, doing his second term, and he's here, so I have to pledge that loyalty when he's here. When I was looking at this thing, I thought Dr. Nyoro would be here, the governor, His Excellency the governor, and therefore I started probably with a humor. Because immediately this week, those who are in our social media here, our WhatsApp, we made a comment like that one of the people who wrote in one of the media, they wrote that statement, like giving the governor an agenda. Immediately, Dr. Nyoro took office on Saturday. This is what one of the residents here said. He said, my honest advice to Governor Nyoro is that people of Kiambu just want development. We have lost so much time and resources, and therefore all we need now is to recoup our wasted time and resources and make Kiambu shine. That person went on to say, most of Kiambu core functions, health, environment, roads, infrastructure, need to be addressed first. That's why I say, ask a citizen, what are our priorities? So this is very much in line and in sync with the topic of today. That what I think the topic of today is what measures should be put in place to enhance citizen participation in sustainable development in Kiambu. So we citizens of Kiambu want development, and we have stated that as our agenda from the very beginning. Yani, if you read more into that, vile ameandika, amesema less politics, more development. And that's what the people of Thika are saying, that's what the people of Kiambu are saying, that this time is time to concentrate on development. And that development is the people of Kiambu hawataka kusikia inaitwa tutawaletea. Tutawaletea, we shall bring you this. They want to be the co-participants, and development starts from mashinani, from the grassroots. And it can only it can start from the grassroots through participation of the people. As we go along, I will tell you how people are supposed to participate. And that, how the people are supposed to start is, first of all, by embracing their power. Yeah? Their power that they acquired through the Constitution, Article number 1, which states that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this Constitution. The people may exercise this sovereign power either directly or through the democratically elected representatives. What that means, when Engineer Geshe was the MCA, we delegated some powers to him to go and talk for us in Kiambu County. But then there are some powers that we cannot delegate, like public participation, because we don't want to, and this is a mistake a lot of MCAs and politicians do. Mimi nimesema, na nimesema kwamba, right? Hii barabara lazima iwekwe hapa, and they have not consulted their constituents. When we used to do that public participation before the devolution came, I was very much involved in the city participation. And the way roads were allocated, every road must lead to a councillor's home in Nairobi. If it's not leading to a councillor's home, no matter how important it is, it's not an important road. So, these days, it is the citizen who will decide which road, which project that will be made through this power. Now, Section 14 in Part 2 of the 4th schedule in the Constitution provides that, the 4th schedule is the one that divides the functions and powers between the county government and the national government. And here I am very, 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 very emphatic about this sharing of power, because that was my main forte. I gazetted these functions myself and said, this is what's going to the county, and this is what is going to the county, and this is going to the national government. And it was not easy for me, because I had a big fight with the ministers, I had a big fight with the office of the president, I had a big fight with the governor, because everybody wanted everything, and nobody wanted to let go of anything. And that time it was like putting your hand in the mouth of an alligator to remove the meat that it has just swallowed, to give it maybe to another animal. And I had to do it. So one of the functions, you cannot believe it, that we developed was this section 14 in part 2 of the 4th schedule. If you have your constitution, you'll see it there. And it says that a governor, who is the chief executive, must ensure and coordinate the participation of communities and locations in governance at the local level and assist communities and locations to develop their administrative capacity for the effective exercise of the functions and powers and participation in governance at the local level. The way we went about that, through CCs in Machakos, it was not followed. And we were with ministers like yourself in Machakos. We said every county should have a directorate of civic education and public participation. Because we knew this, for this to succeed, you are not here when the organizations were being introduced from Rimuru, from Kanunga, from where. They are here, leaders of organizations. I've told you about Kiboko, we have told you about this one, Thika District Business, but there are many others which are here. Those people don't know how to participate. Everybody assumes, right? We have individuals very active like Madam Chania, like Abu, and like others, like Hemedi. They will come as individuals. But nobody has ever told them, this is the way you go about participating in decisions of state and on matters that affect you. So, now that you are here, and I thought I was going to address the governor, I would have reiterated and repeated the need to have a directorate of civic education and public participation in the county that will bring us, and I'll tell you later on how we are going to go about it. This is another gentleman I'm addressing. Maybe you can introduce yourself so that you know who you are.
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry for coming late. My name is David Nyorokunanga. I am the sub-county administrator for Thika sub-county. Thank you.
So, that far, I think we have understood each other. Now, this is a devolved function. It's a real function. How do we implement it? Let it today, ladies and gentlemen, be about implementing things, not about talking about things.
Thank you.
When the county goes away from here, what resolutions should we make and follow up and make sure that this year those things will be done? I'm sure they will be contained here. Now, I'm talking about the constitutional basis. Article 10. Article 10 has many things, about 17 values. But among them is patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power. I talked about that a lot. Democracy and participation of the people. So you will see, this is a constitution. The previous one was a schedule of a constitution. This is also a constitution. One of the most important articles in the constitution is called Article 10. And yet, that's why you have one of the values, public participation. So we cannot second guess the importance of that. Then we are also talking about, then we have good governance, integrity, transparency, and accountability. Accountability is us holding you to account. And you have seen it. And I don't think now anybody has any regret in saying that we have seen the results of accountability. If you can remind you that there are some people who walked to the offices of the county assembly with how many names? Were they 200? How many names? Were they 200 and what? And they gave to that gentleman of Rimuru. 200,000 names. And those who are mere citizens like ourselves. That's part of public participation. And we are holding people to accountability. And 200,000 has knocked down an elephant. Right? 200,000. Those are the people. They walked into an assembly. It looked like a joke. But now it's a reality that we have to live with. You see? So this account is part of whatever. And then we are talking about sustainable development. So when Henry asks, what should we do about sustainable accountability? It is part of the devolved, it's part of the values that we must achieve through devolution, sustainable development. And now we are saying how. Then, participation in decision making. I'm saying that is a reserved power. And I have said it before. Participation in decision making in the manner you are governed. So nobody should come and tell you, nakuletea, nakufanyia. It is you who says how you want to be governed. And that's a reserved power of the people. That is the most important thing that we have. Because an object of devolution, Article 174, we talk about promoting democratic and accountable exercise of power. We talk about giving powers of self-governance to the people and enhance the participation of the people in exercise of the powers of the state and making decisions that affect them. So, Bwana CEC, we are saying you're a state officer, but you see, even under the leadership of whatever code, act, or chapter 6, you are still answerable to us. And we must decide with you how we want to be governed. So that's a reserved state. To recognize the right of communities to manage their own affairs. Communities to manage their own affairs. And to further their development. So, it befalls still on us to be the ones to decide how we shall manage our own affairs, to promote social and economic development, and the provisions of proximate, easily accessible service throughout Kenya, to enhance checks and balances and the separation of powers. So public participation is part of checks and balances. And as I talk to these ladies and gentlemen, I'm just telling you what to claim as your right, not as a privilege. So, statutory enhancement of people's power and participation. Section 87 now we're in the Constitution. Now let's come to the Act. Section 87 of the County Governments Act sets out the principles of citizen participation in counties. Section 91, I hope you have this act. When I was the chairman of TA, I always wanted people to hold high the act. Now people have forgotten. Always make sure you work with your Constitution and the County Governments Act and the Public Finance Act. Have these things always with you, because that's what empowers you. So, Section 91 of the same Act provides that the county government shall facilitate the establishment of structures for public participation. Now here, we say, shall we establish structures? Do we have them? That's the question we are going to be told today. Do we have in this county structures for public participation? If they are not there, we are going to say how. Also, information, the county government shall facilitate the establishment of structure for public participation through information, communication, technology, and technology-based platforms. I think, was it Mr. Kabucho who was planning to tell you about the internet, how you reach, how you use this advertisements. So these are part of the structures of how you reach out to people. Then there are town hall meetings. This is a town hall meeting. Don't wait until we go to town hall. This is a town hall. When you call people together like this is a town hall meeting. And it can be anywhere. It's a conceptual idea. That you can call us somewhere in an open ground. That's a town. As long as you have called people, and you are not saying that they are special people. They say anybody who felt is a stakeholder, you come to that meeting. That's what we call a town hall meeting. Then notes boards. Like we used to say, that if there are meetings like this, and if there are important things to be done, put those notices at the county offices, put those notices at the DC's county commissioners' offices, and everywhere else. So through notes board, announcing appointments, and other important points of public interest. You can also have these announcements in churches, in mosques, in all those places. Let people know, so that you publicly announce these things. Now, statutory enhancement of people's power and participation in Kiambu. Before I talk about this, because when I talked about it, the engineer is the one who, you see, an act of account is just like an act of parliament. Because it's put in the same gazette and they have the equal power. I'm a lawyer, I can guarantee you that. So an act of a county is an act of parliament, but over the smaller parliament called the Assembly, County Assembly. This act, through him, Henry, this gentleman, I was there, you know, we pushed for this thing to be done, and it was passed in 2016. Engineer Richard, this act gives us 3 things, right? It's called the Kiambu County Community and Neighborhood Association Engagement Act 2016. And the objectives are these: to give statutory recognition to community and neighborhood associations and effect to their initiatives in complementing county government service delivery, to enable structured cooperation between the county government, residents, and businesses, to facilitate the activities of the associations and organizations, to give further effect to Article 10 and 174 of the Constitution, as I have said up there, as regards the principles of participation of the citizen and for connected purposes. My dear Minister, this is where you come in now. You have this act. We passed it in 2016. I don't know whether you are there then, and if you are there, you know about it. If you are not there, I don't know whether you know about it. But this is our act now. Ladies and gentlemen, we were given this act. What have we done about it? What have we done about it? What is the implementation of this act? And this is where the key presentation of today is. Nyinyi leaders, Kiboko, Wapi, Limuru, this Mama Joki, kutoka Limuru, or this lady, what wrote to association zote, we are asking to be brought together by the government. Bwana Minister, letwe pamoja in a hall like this, tuandikwe majina. There has to be a register of all the registered associations of Kiambu by county, so that when we are going to public participation in Juja, in Thika, in Limuru, we know who are there, and those are the initial people we shall send these letters to, right? Hawa ndio viongozi, kwa sababu everybody came here and said, I'm so and so, and I have come with my members. So it means we can bring 1,000 participants if each of us came with members. Even my chairman came with me, I'm a member. Yeah? So let us resolve from today that all the registered associations will be registered by the county, and someone talked of a round table. And this is what I do not want to forget. We resolve because we are the people and we give this constitution to ourselves, that we are going to request the governor to have 2 round tables in a year with all the associations. Hata kama sio project ama nini, just to meet us so that we feel we are with the government of Kiambu through this act. Is that too much to ask? No. We meet in June, we review what has been done so far in our areas. We come in December, we plan what is going to be done, because there is this supplementary budget in January. So we began in December to say, sasa sisi tunataka hii maendeleo tunataka kuletea kwetu. In June is a review meeting, the December will be a planning meeting. Na hapa tusemi ati mwache Madam Chania ama Abu kama hako kwa association. These are very material. These are what we call prominent opinion leaders. So they too must be recognized as leaders in the community that must also be invited to those meetings. So that we can now, if you do that, I can tell you in 2 years, by the time you come to 2022, I don't want to predict the results, but you will see. So if Dr. Nyoro wants to succeed in this county, afanye hiyo. And we are the people who shall talk for him. So this is the act I want us to claim today, and we want it to be implemented. As I go towards the end, we have tested this theory in the courts. They have been tested, public participation has been tested in South Africa, it has been tested in Kenya, and because I had only 15 minutes, I did not want to tell you how it was tested in South Africa. I wanted just to mention a few cases where it has been tested in Kenya, and more particularly, does it work? Is it just rhetoric? Is it something that you just say for the sake of it? Now, first, it was Muranga. There's a judge called Wawero, Justice Wawero, and the Kahot Water and Sanitation Company Limited, 4 others versus Governor Muranga County and 4 others. The judge says, while exercising its legislative mandate under Article 185 and Article 196(1) of the Constitution to conduct its business in an open manner and hold its sittings and those of the committees in public, facilitate public participation and involvement in the legislative and other business of the Assembly and its committees. When we were setting these things, we had to go to every county and identify the chamber where the Assembly will be meeting. And the first thing I went with a team from Parliament was to identify network public what? Gallery. Where will the people be staying when these people are discussing? Because nothing must be discussed in private. So if you go to Kenya, there is no county assembly without a public gallery. Because you are entitled to know what these people are conspiring, what they are saying. So now it's the same here. So the judge has said, people, even formally and informally, like when they are debating their issues, that's an informal for you. It's not a formal thing, but sometimes they debate a motion that affects you. You should be able to go there and hear what they are saying. You may not participate in the debate, but be there. But before then, and you will see in these court cases, if they have not involved you in what they are trying to pass, then you can nullify it. And now we know you can. I'll tell you how. Now, a lot of you know somebody here in Vika called Robert Gakuru. And he was the leader of Jamu Foster. Jamu Foster challenged the Kabakaboko. Challenged him that you cannot pass this Finance Act because you did not involve us. And this is the judgment. This is the judgment. And what does it say? Robert is not a very hefty guy. He's just a small man like me. But he was able also to knock another giant and came out with that. And Judge Odunga, you know, is a no-nonsense judge. Says facilitation of public involvement in the legislative process therefore means taking steps to ensure that the public participate in the legislative process. That's Justice Odunga. So don't fear when you are demanding these things. Now, Justice Meoli in Kinuthia Wamwangi and 2 others versus County Government of Kiambu. Have you ever heard of that gentleman called Kinuthia Wamwangi? Yes. He decided to take the bull by the horn. Why? Because of something that's called merger. And the minister, we are not fighting merger or anything. No. These are ideas and they must be allowed to float. But we are saying, or the court said on our behalf, the court hereby issues a declaration that the entire Kiambu County Water and Sanitation Services Amendment Act of 2010 is unconstitutional and invalid for want of adequate public participation under Article 10(2)(a). So I told you about Article 10. Yes. Article 10(2). I also told you about 174. Yes. I also told you about 196. Which is for the assembly of the Constitution as read with Section 87 and 91 of the County Governments Act. All these ones we have talked about them there. So, in a way of winding up, our dear Odunga says, remember, Kapakabugo had taken some people to, which hotel was that? Windsor Hotel. Give them a very sumptuous lunch. And they said we have done public participation. So Odunga says, in my view, to handle a few people in a 5-star hotel on one day cannot by any stretch of imagination be termed as public participation for the purpose of meeting constitutional threshold. And for purposes of my preparation, that is the end. But let me give you an anecdote. One day, there was public participation here on some projects. And I live in Kiboko. So I saw a van going around, Tangazarin, that there is public participation going on. I followed that van, wherever it went, and they were saying we are going to the community. So I decided I would go to the community. And when I went there, I found one activist like this gentleman. This is a very dangerous man. He's a very dangerous activist. He's the only one who was talking there because the people who had come holding children, the ladies, young ladies holding children, other people, they were just curiosity seekers. They didn't know what it was all about. They said tulisikia tu kameme, tukasema tu tukuje hapa. And I stayed there until they finished. But I can tell you there was nothing of substance that was discussed because that thing had not been advertised properly, people had not been called properly, so we do not want tokenistic public participation. We want true and clear public participation. And there is my case. Thank you.
And now I think we'll invite our CC, Planner Minor, and talk to us. Probably he has a message of the governor. He will also tell us whether the governor is still on the way, and he can give us his speech. Thank you very much, and karibu sana.
It gives me pleasure today to be here. At the same time, speaking after such eloquence and experienced, a person like Mr. Kinuthia Wamwangi, it's quite difficult. However, I will give the message from Dr. James Nyoro, who is the governor of Kiambu County, as well as try to say what Kiambu is doing towards public participation. the governor has not been able to come as he had promised. You are all aware that last week was a week with mixed expectations. We were not able to swear him on Thursday, and we succeeded in doing so on Friday. However, there was certain allegement that he had already committed himself on Thursday and Friday as the acting governor, which has practically confused his diary. We have visitors who have been interested in the county and investing in the county, and today they were turning up from 11. Before that, he had organized to give bursaries to needy students who he was supposed to give from 9 to 10, expecting that he would arrive here before that time. So he sent me with his apologies, and he said, I pass his greetings to you. Do I say you have received everything? However, he has sent me, and I believe I'm capable as an officer of the county to represent him on the matters that are being discussed here. With me, I've got the manager for for Thika municipality, and I also have the sub-county administrator. I also have the municipal board members for Thika municipality. I'll give you just a second to lead you, then I'll give you my speech. I'll start with the sub-county administrator.
Habari zenu. I had greeted you before, and you remember my name, eh? You can't remember. My name is David Nyorokungana, the sub-county administrator. I'm here to welcome you to Thika sub-county, and I am pleased to be in this town hall meeting. It has come at the right time when we are also going to have public participation on issues of fiscal planning. And I just hope that the attendance like today will be the same during those meetings. The challenge that we have been having is that, and I think Mr. Mwangi mentioned, is that whenever we call these meetings, however people know them, people shun these meetings. I do not know why. But now because we are having a new blood in the government, I believe when you come for these meetings, your representations, your comments will be taken seriously and they will be taken into consideration. I believe why people are not attending these meetings, like he said, is that you just attend meetings and there's nothing presented. And you are told it is public participation. And then, there you are. But this time we believe these things will be serious. That the projects that you propose to the government, whatever you propose to the government, will be put and will be implemented as you want it. Because the government is you. The government is not Nyoroku. The government is not Waziri. The government is the people of Kiambu. So whatever we are doing, we should do it for you. With those few remarks, Brother Waziri, thank you very much. We will continue mingling with you, and my office is open. I have a few friends here. I can see several people I know.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Mwangi Fred. I'm the acting municipal manager for Thika municipality, and I'm also the manager for Ruiru municipality. So, mine is to feel very honored to be in this meeting. We've been in contact so much with Engineer Karanja and engaging on quite a few things that Kara is doing. And as our sub-county administrator has said. Going forward, we would wish Waziri to have the Kara people specifically invited in our public participations, because what we do, we advertise on the newspaper, and most of the time it doesn't get to people we expect. We find public participation look like the political nominations. During nominations, the serious people who should make decisions for the community do not come out. They don't participate. They wait for the elections, not knowing that the leaders are usually elected during the nomination. During the elections, it's just rubber stamping. So let us, we encourage you to come the way you have in the public participation that we hold as a county, so that when we advertise for the projects that we are going to undertake, you will say, mbona hii ni barabara wameweka hapa, sio ile. It is about during the public participation, you are not there to assist us and make the right decisions. So thank you so much. Asante sana Waziri.
Let me first of all comment on public participation, underlying the fact that Kiambu County do have an act on public participation. So anything that we legislate, anything that we pass as a policy cannot be implemented having not gone through the process of public participation. Let me also underline the fact that towards institutionalizing this process, we have created institutions that are mandated with the working on public participation, and we have a director of public participation within the Department of Public Administration in Kiambu County. So those are facts that we do align, but I also know the bigger problem is not actually public participation itself, but implementing those ideas of public participation. However, again also, I do underline that the public or the citizens do also have an obligation to understand the matters that they are participating on, because a public that is not educated on issues they are dealing with, even if you work together, you are not likely to produce effective development in any county. The reason why I say so, it has been underscored that in various public participation, or in one of public participations, the citizens demanded for the government to construct a hospital. And it was no less than a hospital. But further investigations revealed the reason why the citizens wanted a hospital was because there was a lot of diarrhea, there was cholera, and the politicians, in their own knowledge, decided that the best way we can do is to construct a hospital. However, public health officers commented and said we don't need a hospital, but the public health officer could not believe that too. The reason, because the idea the public health officer was saying is that the only thing that these people need is hygiene. But the public would not agree to that, because the politician cannot tell the citizen, go wash your hands before you eat, go wash your hand after you visit a washroom, because the politician will be told, just the other day we elected you, now you are saying we are dirty. This next election. So these are some of the facts, because indeed some of the projects that we do get from members of the public, sometimes we really find them almost impossible to implement. And I'll come to that at later, sometime later in my presentation. Let me further underline, under the county assembly, any policy that we take to the county assembly, as well as any legislation or any bill that we take to county assembly, the county assembly also has a process of public participation. In their own laws, as an arm of the government, they do have a process of public participation, and they cannot pass any legislation before it goes through public participation process. Again, also, most of the laws, some of the laws which I'm going to mention, do also have components of public participation. We have quite a number of laws. Mr. Omondi have detailed so much on the County Government Act. I don't want to go back there. I'll mention a few laws. I'll mention the Urban Areas and Cities Act 2012. Let me mention some of the things that you mentioned about public health or health facilities. We are aware that our health facilities are not doing very well. The governor is working day and night to see to it that we do have drugs. One of the problems that we are having for the last 6 months, we didn't have a public service board, and therefore we cannot be able to recruit doctors. We are dying to recruit doctors as well as nurses. We have a very huge shortfall, and the governor has told me in the next 30 days a public service will be in place by the end of March, and we will commence the process of recruitment of those staff. There is a hospital when we took over as acting governor in Tigoni, which has stalled. He also told me to mention to you that this hospital is going to be one of the best hospitals in the country, not only in Kiambu. It will open its doors by end of March. If it isn't, not later than April. I'm aware that he has commenced on the procurement of equipment to make that hospital a world class. The other things we are working on before the rains to see that farmers get seeds. You are aware that he's an expert in agriculture and he's working hard to see that the farmers get seeds. The other areas that he's working on is on rearing of pigs. We are planning to open a pork factory, and that one he has commenced on it. So those are the few things that we have been able to do within the very difficult period of the 6 months. The other things fall directly in my department. I'm going to talk about them very well, and I'll be able to articulate them. Let me also mention our own inherent problem, because if I don't admit the problem that we're having, then when you go out, you get your own facts that will be misrepresented. We have embarked on construction of health facilities, and we have several of them, I think 3 of them. We have one in Tigoni, we have another one in Wagiri, we have another one in Bibilioni, and we have another one in Githunguri. All these projects totals 1.6 billion. Our budget for the hospitals is less than 300 million a year. So these projects can only be white elephants. And we were too ambitious. We didn't calculate our month's light. So some of the projects are stalled. And that's why, partly, we have seen the health system being affected. I know the government will have a tall order, because we have already entered into contractual obligations which we must fulfill, but is capable to the task. I believe the route he has taken, taking up one project and finishing, then going to the next one, is likely to work, because there's no other way, because we cannot raise 1.6 billion within a year. Let me see, outline further the devolution processes that has taken place in Kiambu. We, under the Urban Areas and Cities Act, we have enacted or given shelter to 6 municipalities. We have Bika municipality. Bika municipality consists of Bika sub-counties where as Juja sub-county. We have Loiro municipality. Loiro municipality consists of what is Loiro constituency or Loiro sub-county. We have Kiambu. We have Kalori. Kalori consists of what is Kiaba sub-county. We have Kuyu, who is one of our largest municipalities, consists of Kabete and Kuyu sub-counties. And finally, we have Limuru municipality. Limuru municipality consists of part of land as well as Limuru constituency. So in those 6 municipalities, we have a manager and we also have a board. And the board have a chairman and a vice chairman. In an ideal situation, we are supposed to have 6 citizen forums. No, 4 citizen forums. And the board are supposed to have not less than 4 meetings in a year. It's mandatory that we must do 4 citizen forums under the law. So every quarter of the year, we'll be holding citizen forums. We have been successfully doing so. Last year, we held 4 citizen forums. We also have a budget for every municipality for development. For Thika, I think we do have 234 million. Am I right, Manager? 305 million. The total development for all the municipalities is 1.89 billion. So that's the total development for Kiambu. Before we commence on any development, before we take it for approval to the county assembly on what is called municipal investment plan, we must have citizen forum where citizens decide the project they are going to undertake. Recently, you may have seen we are undertaking a few projects. We are taking a project on Mego Kibiru Road here in Bika Town. We are also undertaking a project on improvement of Christina Gardens. We are also having several sewer projects that we are undertaking. We have also undertaken, which is almost now a complete project, a stormwater drainage in that resilient. Those who come from that resilient may witness that under the current phase they have not had any problems. So that project we have been able to undertake it. Last year we undertook citizen forums, and the project that we are undertaking will commence probably in a month's time. If they are late, they should commence by end of April. Of major importance to note is that we will be doing improvement of streets in Bika Town. Under the current project, we will not leave any pothole in Bika Town.